Sybil.
So you had to do all that
Harry.
before this.
Wow. Yeah, but I think it's interesting to kind of talk about...
What happened?
Yeah, because, so, first of all, I wanted to mention, you said that the Kaufman thing was hours ago, but really, it didn't seem like it was very many hours ago.
I'm sorry, it felt like it was hours ago because we played it weeks ago. And I don't have the game memorized, and this is my least favorite Silent Hill out of the original trilogy.
That's okay, I was just saying. Second of all, I wanted to talk about how... Oh, my.
There's a body stuck to the bulkhead. I didn't even notice this when I
Ew.
walked in, but that's gross.
I wanted to talk about how I think it's interesting that not only does Dahlia Gillespie not even refer to Alessa as her daughter, but she's referring to Alessa now as a demon taking Alessa's form. And she's kind of saying that Cheryl is going to be the sacrifice for the town for that demon.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that kind of went over my head last time. Or at least I don't remember us talking about it.
Well, one of the best things about Silent Hill is that almost every time you play one of the games, you notice something new.
Well, I think that's pretty interesting. And I think that also makes sense when we go to the lighthouse, too. With all of those, like, demon symbols. And we see Alessa, if she is really a demon. You know.
Well, now you're just assuming that, Dahlia Gillespie is that's her name, right?
Yes.
Is a
truther?
Yeah, like a reliable narrator. She's not.
Exactly. I mean, that's like an assumption. It could also be the demon could be following Alessa around. I don't think Alessa's a demon. I think that Alessa needs help, you know.
I'm not even entirely sure that there is a demon.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this place kind of seems hellish, so I just assumed there could be a demon.
Maybe, but this place, there's more to it than what you see.
Mm-hmm.
This place exists on ancient ground used by the Native Americans to make dreams become reality.
And then cultivated by a cult to make it evil.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, corrupted, tainted, whatever you want to call it, yeah. I'm going to equip the hunting rifle because I have about 17 shots in it, and it mostly 1 or 2 shots these dumb birds.
Yeah, and we hate these stupid birds. So let's go back to the lighthouse, as long as we're not missing any more side quests, right?
We are not.
Because I would like to see what happens after we meet Alessa again.
Yeah, I'm going to work on getting there, but in the meantime I have to deal with every sloth under the sun, and then these random pterodactyls attacking me.
Yeah.
The point I was going to get to way before, though, probably in a different part, at this point, was just going to be, though, that I think it's cool that you know so much about The Sims.
Thank you.
That was really it.
I'm a big fan of Sims, and I'm a big fan of a lot of different things. A lot of times when I have a special interest in something, I learn almost everything there is to know about it because I have an obsession, and then I continue on. Does that make sense?
I get very much into stuff like that, too.
And I have a hard time, especially with games I really like, when I get a special interest in them, I have a hard time to not play them all the time. Like, I get obsessed and want to play the same game for months on end, and just that game whenever I can. And I think it's because I have some sort of addictive personality disorder or something like that. Or some sort of, like, problem that makes me like that. And, because, like, I will, like, think about that game even when I'm, like, trying to go to sleep at night. Like, I'll think about, like, how much fun I was having on the game and how I really want to play more the next day and stuff like that, because I'm crazy.
Well, I don't think that's crazy. I don't really have that, but, I wouldn't call it crazy. I would just say you're very into it.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
I just really like video games a lot. I don't know why. I get very excited, especially with, like, more creative games. Like, I get really excited about building things or making things or my own narratives that I'm going to create, like in The Sims with my stories that I make.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll do kind of, like, silly stories where, like, I'll have the man cheat on the wife or something like that, or the wife cheat on the man.
That's just so silly.
And then I'll have, like some step-parent come in. The step-parent's mean to the kids and stuff like that, and then eventually the mom and dad get back together. I don't know, I got some dumb stuff going on in The Sims right now.
I don't think it's dumb, it's just, just because it's not necessarily what I would care about.
One of my stories I had on The Sims, which I thought was really fun, is I made this woman And in The Sims 4, they made it so you can make people who are different, if that makes sense, like different genders and different sexes. So like you could make a woman who has a penis and could impregnate people if you wanted to, and stuff like that.
Oh, so you can make someone who was born one, or you can make someone who's intersex, like where they're both, or you can make someone who is born and then becomes trans, or is trans or whatever.
Yeah, you could make somebody who can make other people pregnant and get pregnant themselves, sort of thing.
So intersex, I think.
And you can choose if you want them to sit down to pee or stand up to pee or both.
See, when you said you can make someone different, I thought you were saying someone with like a mental challenge.
No, I'm talking about like biologically different. So something that I had a lot of fun with when they implemented that in The Sims is I made a hot woman and I made her have a dick. And I decided to have her go around the entire town and have sex with as many women as possible and get every single one of them pregnant. And just to see how many children I could have walking around the town.
This is an interesting fantasy to live out.
And then, so there's some famous...
Do you have like a breeding kink?
Maybe. And so there's some famous Sims called the Land Grab family. If you're into The Sims, you know who they are. They're part of like the Sims canon story.
There's a canon story in The Sims?
There is a canon story
and
in The Sims.
And people care?
Yes.
Okay, well that's cool.
And so there's a Land Grab family. And I had my Sim break up the Land Grab's marriage, get the wife to be into her, and then impregnate the wife. And then I had 2 children. And they were twins, and I named it Burger and Fries.
What the hell? Why was that the name?
I don't know, and I decided that this one woman I was going to keep, I was going to marry her, and so I had my...
Gonna keep her? You sound like you're putting down a pet.
Yeah, I decided to keep this one instead of just throw her to the curb and go impregnate the next lady. And, she had a son with her previous husband, who, by the way, the way I got rid of the husband was I had lightning strike him down, electrocute him, and kill him. It was really funny. And, so anyway, she had this son, and I thought it would be really funny to make him have to sleep outside.
Wow, so you're an abusive god in The Sims.
Yes.
Also, this is going to be different now, I think.
Damn, I was too late.
Long story short, I'm a little bit crazy when it comes to The Sims, but I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun in particular with like making characters that I guess would be considered trans, because I really like women, and I especially really like getting custom content for women and dressing them up really sexy, and I like having families, so I like being able to make 2 women and have them have, woohoo, and be able to have a baby together without having to involve anybody else or involve adoption.
What's wrong with adoption?
Nothing's wrong with adoption, it's just every time you adopt a Sim in The Sims, they give you the ugliest, most disgusting looking creature that looks like a Trog from Fallout 3 that you could ever imagine in your life. And then you have to fix it and create a Sim, because it's like, what is this thing?
That makes sense.
What is this creature you've bestowed upon me?
We're now stuck again, so give me a minute, okay?
Another thing that I find interesting, too, is when you have a biological baby with 2 different Sims, it will take into account past generations and the 2 Sims' genetics, and it will make your Sim baby grow up with features that, like, the 2 parents and possibly, like, the grandparents and other stuff had. So, like, if your Sims had blue eyes and one of them had green eyes, then the kid might end up with, like, green eyes, but, like, have the mother's big nose or something like that. And I find that really interesting.
Can you have, basically a kid... Can you have a special kid?
You know what? Sometimes I kind of like to make fun of my Sims and say that they're a little bit special.
Why would that be making fun of them? It's a good thing.
Because I kind of feel like some Sims have a personality that's, like, a little bit slower than others, if that makes sense. Like, you could just kind of tell sometimes when a Sim is just, like, a little bit more out there, if that makes sense. And I think that's partially based on the traits you can give them, too. But a lot of Sims are just kind of different. Every single Sim you'll meet is different because of their traits and, like, their skills that they'll develop and...
What kind of skills exactly would you use those for?
And also, like, possibly, like, ways they were raised. So, in The Sims 4 now, which I think is really cool, when you are raising your kid...
Oh, wait. This is the thing. This is what we're supposed to do.
Sybil hasn't come back. That creep's sure to show up at the amusement park pretty soon. Let me be on time.
Was he calling Alessa a creep?
I don't know. I thought he was talking about what he believes is the demon, but we now have to make our way to the amusement park. My understanding is we have to go through some sewers again, but like different ones, I think. Anyways, you could. We'll talk a little more about The Sims.
So, when you're raising your kid in The Sims 4, now, you couldn't do this as much in The Sims 3. You can influence their behaviors and make them, like, well-behaved and stuff by having your parent Sims tell them, like, no, you shouldn't do that, and, like, do your homework and stuff like that. And it will give them, like, I'm pretty sure it gives them some sort of extra trait or something when they grow up that makes them either a better person or a worse person, which is really cool. And then also, your Sims can learn things even as adults. Like, let's say you bought a violin and you wanted your Sim to be a musician, and you made your Sim play the violin a ton. Well, then that Sim would be a more musical Sim, and a lot of things that they would do, like, sometimes certain animations will change. Like, I don't know if this is exactly an animation that happens, but it's an example of one that could happen, is like, if your Sim is really musical or has like a musical trait, maybe when they're cooking, they'll hum a tune or something like that, or they'll tap a tune with their foot and stuff like that. Like, they'll do different things, whereas another Sim who's not musical wouldn't do that. So it's like very tiny things like that that I find amusing.
So would you say that if you are a big fan of the violin, you are a fan of violence?
Yes. Yes. Hashtag violence.
Oh man, this is a pretty useful thing. I think it's cool. I mean, like, so, I mean, maybe you can explain this to me. What's the point of having perks or, like, traits or whatever for a Sim?
So you have to choose them. You can't just have a Sim without traits, because it is the personality of a Sim.
Okay.
So,
but I thought you control a lot of what that Sim does.
Yes, you control a lot of what that Sim does, but you can also choose its personality. So, like, let's say I was going to make you a Sim, you know, and I'd put down some of your traits. Like, I could make you... Oh, there's a cutscene.
I didn't know there would be, sorry. She just got annihilated.
So I could make you as a Sim, like, more into wanting to play video games and more into nerdy things, and get along better with other Sims who also like nerdy things. Whereas if I didn't give you traits like that, you might not be... Like, your Sim might not care much about those things, whereas you in real life do. So you can kind of influence what you want your Sim to be like. Like, if I want my Sim to really enjoy video games and reading and stuff like that, I can give them, like, the bookworm trait, and I think there's a gamer trait, and I can make them friendly, or I can make them grumpy, and then a lot of times they'll be a grumpus McDumpus. And sometimes when they're grumpy, they'll do things in a grumpy way, like stamp their feet when they have to go do something. They'll do that sort of stuff.
So oh, jeez, I am not dealing with whatever that is.
Whereas a happier Sim wouldn't stomp their feet when going to do something, you know?
Right, that makes sense. Okay.
That is something that I actually really enjoy about The Sims 4, is they made a lot of the emotions and a lot of the traits and a lot of your skills matter a lot more based on, like, different animations and different things your Sim will do based on their personality. The Sims 3 doesn't do that as much. It is a lot simpler of a system, but I think it's really interesting and cool that they have that in The Sims 4. And I'm interested to see how they continue those emotions and those traits in The Sims 5, which I guess they did announce now. But my problem with The Sims 5 is, like, they microtransact so many different packs for The Sims 4 that I feel like I've barely gotten to play The Sims 4 in comparison to like a new Sims 5 coming out, and now I feel like now that a Sims 5 is coming out, that they're just gonna have a bunch of new packs for that coming out, and it'll be harder for me to get Sims 4 stuff.
These are creepy. Oh, jeez. Oh, whoa.
What the heck is that?
Oh, getting that good head.
Ew.
Oh, hell yeah. Can I tell you my unpopular opinion on The Sims?
Yes.
It's not that it's dumb, but it's that there's no point to play it at launch.
Because it's empty.
Yeah, because, like, it'll be a better game in 5 years.
When there's expansion packs.
By a lot. So you might as well just act like it didn't come out until then, and then you get, like, an amazing game.
But the problem is that, with that, is you have to buy the full game. Depending on if it's not on sale, it'll be about $60. And then you have to pay about 30 to 40, possibly 60, for an expansion pack, depending on how much is in the expansion pack.
Yeah, but not if you wait. If you waited, by the time the last expansion pack comes out, I guarantee you could find every other expansion pack for like $10 or $15.
That's true. That's what I'd like to do with The Sims 4, is if they have like a really big sale and we have some more money after I've done my job for a little bit while, I would like to go on, well, I guess it's not Origin anymore, but whatever their thing is, because I don't really bother collecting the physical cases of The Sims 4 because a lot of them just don't have discs. It's just a code inside of a box.
It would still be cool to get the ones that do have a disc.
I would like to get the ones that do have a disc, and I'd like to try and find those online. But for the most part, I'd like to wait until there's a sale on that and then just buy all of them digitally. And then just go through and buy the ones with the disc and have those in my collection. Because sadly, a lot of them do not have a disc.
Right, and that's unfortunate, and that's something that's bad for game preservation.
That's something that turned me off a lot to The Sims 4 in the beginning, too, was the fact that a lot of them didn't have discs, because one of my greatest joys when The Sims 3 was out was collecting all of the cases for The Sims 3. Because, especially the Katy Perry one, it has, like, a cool Katy Perry slipcover, and yeah, my stuff's not in the best condition, because, like, it was hand-me-downs from my sister, and I was a dumb kid, because I started playing when I was literally, like, 11.
A lot of it's in decent condition.
But, like...
These guys are scary.
I think it's really cool to have, like, a sparkly Katy Perry slipcover and a Katy Perry Sims 3 disc, you know?
Can you imagine if they had done one of those with Taylor Swift?
Do you know how badly I would shit my pants? I would literally poop myself.
I know you'd love that.
Katy Perry was in The Sims 3. Like, she is a playable sim. Like, they have her created already.
Why'd you touch me randomly?
I didn't mean to, but they have her created already, and it actually looks decently like her.
Jill got so excited she hit me.
And it makes me so happy. So, like, if they did that for Taylor Swift, I would, like, literally die.
Why was there a gunshot?
A lot of people didn't like the Katy Perry Sweet Treats stuff, though, and I thought it was kind of sad, because a lot of those people just kind of seemed... Like, I don't want to shit on your aesthetics or your taste, but you kind of just seem like a little bit of a boring person if you don't, every once in a while, want to put, like, a little cupcake or something, like, you know, in your Sims house. Because, like, a lot of this furniture and stuff that you got for the Sims 3 Katy Perry Sweet Treats pack was during, like, when she was doing stuff like California Girls, and it was very candy themed, and so you get like chairs that were like candy themed and stuff like that. Like, you could make a candy themed house, and I find that fun and cool, and I think it's cute. But a lot of people just thought that it was ugly and didn't work with their style, so they never used it.
I don't understand taking your style super seriously in The Sims.
That's kind of what I thought too.
I thought it was for fun.
I also thought it was really fun to use that stuff in Showtime to put it on your Sims stage when you make your Sim a singers and stuff, and use them as props.
You know what bummed me out about those games is that, like, if you're not on... Whoa. What the hell?
That's another dead body. That looks like the dead body we saw on the boat.
Ew. If you're not on PC, you might as well not play The Sims.
Yeah.
I think that's unfortunate.
It's better on Sims 4, but...
Really? Because when Sims 4 came out on console, you told me, ew, no, there's no point.
Well, here's the thing. When it first came out, there was no point. Now, I guess there could be a little bit of point, because you can get the expansion packs, and the game is not a super nerfed version, but it's very hard to control.
And it would have none of the, creation stuff, like the player-created content mods and all that.
And that's the problem, is like, the game just kind of feels empty when you don't have stuff like that to me. I feel like the game needs that, and that's a little bit of a shame on the game's part, but maybe they should have had better fashion designers.
Which is interesting, because I'd say it's different for Bethesda games. Like, it really helps them, but I don't feel like they need it.
I feel like The Sims really needs it. A lot of the clothes in The Sims are absolute ass.
No, I agree, but, like, think about this. Like, Fallout 4, especially Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim. I would even say, like, Fallout 3 and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, modern Bethesda, and by modern I mean everything Xbox 360/PS3 era and up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. I feel like they don't need... mods, but mods help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they make it a lot better. And I think that especially when you get to, like, Fallout 4 and Skyrim, they really don't need it, but it really helps, because, like, they have so much stuff in them, if you're including the expansions and stuff, that, oh my word.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think The Sims 3 doesn't super need mods, except for performance stuff and some better outfits and hairstyles. But for The Sims 4, a lot of mods add just a lot of better gameplay elements, to be honest. And also, like, there are some expansion packs that add some really cool outfits and stuff like that, and furniture. But sometimes it just kind of feels like you want more, especially since there isn't a color wheel in that one where you can make anything any color you want, but there is in The Sims 3.
Why would 4 cut a feature from 3? Oh wait, that's just what they do.
I don't know. Because here's the thing, a lot of times, like, you could pick, let's say, a dining room table that's brown.
Oh my.
And then...
Do you hear this?